I believe this is a timely hearing on a timely subject of ensuring that all children receive a world-class education that will allow them to compete for jobs and prosperity in a rapidly changing and challenging world economy. It's, I think, interesting to note that it's an Education and Judiciary Committee joint hearing because, Madam Chairwoman, if we don't get it right in your subcommittee, I'm going to have to deal with it in my subcommittee. So I'm particularly pleased to welcome one of our expert witnesses today, Dr. Cynthia Cave, who is Director of the Office of Student Services at the Virginia Department of Education, whom I had the pleasure to work with when I was in the General Assembly, and I'll be introducing a bit later. Today's hearing will examine the challenges associated with educating children in an alternative setting and how to overcome obstacles in providing quality education in these settings. For many reasons, children in this country are educated with public funds in settings other than traditional public schools. Generally, alternative settings such as alternative schools, juvenile detention facilities, and foster care settings were established with the objective of addressing children's individualized needs while educating them so that they can eventually move back to the public school system. Not providing an educational setting to children when they've been suspended or expelled from their home is not only counterproductive but morally wrong. Society pays a much higher cost, financially and otherwise, if we don't provide an educational alternative than if we do. Given the importance of a solid education in achieving a successful life, we must make sure that the quality of education that young people receive in alternative settings is sufficient for them to continue on to vocational training or college just as any other student. Some alternative settings have created positive therapeutic environments for young people that have proved to be very successful, and we need to learn from these models. Unfortunately, it is clear that not all children who are educated in alternative schools are being provided with the good educational opportunities that they need to become successful in life. Families and educators alike are concerned that instead of addressing the individualized needs of students, some alternative schools are pushing students out of school and into the streets and eventually into the juvenile and criminal justice system. The school system has become a gateway to the juvenile justice system through disciplinary policies such as zero tolerance that require school suspension, expulsion, and arrest for an increasing number of common student behaviors and rule violations. National Center for Educational Statistics found that 31% of students who have been suspended 3 or more times before the 10th grade drop out of school compared to only 6% of those who have never been suspended. The high and growing percentage of youth who are suspended or expelled from school are youth of color. African American, Latino, Asian, and Native Americans are 58% of students suspended or expelled from school. Indeed, many children of color start on a trajectory of school failure, suspension, expulsion, and then to prison. They start on that trajectory at birth. The Sentencing Project estimates that 1 out of every 3 black male students born today can expect to go to prison in their lifetime if the current trends continue. This development has led the Children's Defense Fund to conclude that many black children are born on what they call the cradle-to-prison pipeline. We have to change that trajectory and put these children on a cradle-to-college or cradle-to-the-workforce pipeline because it's not only tragic but also much more costly to our society in the long run if we don't. The Department of Justice and other estimates show that we spend an average of over $23,000 per inmate per year to incarcerate, while it only costs $8,000 a year to educate them. The Alliance for Excellence in Education projects that if the male graduation rate is increased by only 5%, the nation would see an annual savings of almost $5 billion in reduction in crime-related costs. A report by the American Youth Policy Forum indicates that dropouts are 3.5 times more likely than high school graduates to be incarcerated during their lifetime, so we know that education is key to keeping our children away from the prison cell and getting them back on the right track towards a college dorm room or the workforce. An issue of quality education in an alternative setting is especially important with the new accountability under No Child Left Behind, as well as mandates for students who are under the Individuals with Disabilities Act. All students must have a challenging curriculum that we will prepare them to pass state standardized tests and to graduate them from high school. Other challenging educational settings and educating children Another educational setting with educating children is foster care. These children have many obstacles into getting a quality education as youth in the juvenile justice system. Young people in foster care often experience numerous changes in their home placements that require them to change schools frequently. Foster care children have to adjust to new teachers, classmates, curricula, and rules in every new home placement, and as a result, children often end up losing academic credits, experiencing delays in student record transfers, delayed enrollment, and reporting of grades. So we must be concerned about foster care students, regardless of whether they are in the traditional or alternative educational placements, due to these challenges. I look forward to listening to the testimony from today's witnesses and hearing more about how we can assist school systems in successfully overcoming the challenges in providing quality education to children in alternative settings and to foster care students particularly in all settings. And thank you, Madam Chairman, for holding this hearing.